Kensington, Kerby, Streetlamp Confessions by Katherine Nathe. Narrated by Katherine Nathe. Chapter 1. New Duty, New Key. The shiny factory-stamped key slid across the desk like a small verdict. "Father wants you to lock up," Miriam said. Years in that office had left uncharitable lines scribbled across her face. "He trusts you." The word trust had unexpected edges, the kind that leaves a paper cut. The other women in the room, 2 volunteers and a bookkeeper, went still for a second, before getting noisier than necessary. Paper moved, a stapler misfired. Someone laughed about nothing. "I thought lockup was yours," she said. "It was, Miss Kensington Kerby." Miriam's smile didn't rise to the level of her eyes. "Things change." They did. She'd learned that the hard way. Long-term job, lost. That door slammed shut without notice. She had walked away from that, and a succession of gravel, scrape and drag life experiences, a little tougher than she would have preferred. Unfortunately, preference wasn't a luxury she could afford. Now she filed bulletins, answered phones, and learned which parishioners needed patience and which needed a wall. She simply did the work. More importantly, she noticed things, like how the side door camera watched the parking lot, except on Tuesdays, when it drifted a degree off-center, like how the priest's calendar had a standing block labeled "Do Not Schedule" that collided with other people's emergencies, like the pink lipstick on the rim of a coffee cup that never matched the women who worked there. At 5:58, the church started to empty. The light through the nave turned a tinted blue. The building did its after-hours stretch and sigh. She tidied the receptionist counter and listened to the air shift. "Don't forget the sacristy safe," Miriam called, already in her coat. "Father hates surprises." "I don't plan to give him any," she said. She took the new key and made the rounds, side door, hall lights, and finally the sacristy. The safe was a small, square contraption, almost pretending to be something more. She checked the books, logged numbers, then closed the book. When she turned back, she saw it. A sealed manila folder tucked half under a missal on a small credence table. Legal documents. Not the proper place for it. She slid the envelope free. Chancery, Office of Legal Counsel. The date stamp was yesterday. Whoever had delivered it had done so quietly. She didn't open it. Not her job. She didn't ignore it either. She returned to the office to place it on the priest's chair with precision and locked the door behind her. In the hallway between his office and the last door to exit the building, the fluorescent lights buzzed like a bad taste that burned in the mouth. Stepping outside into the courtyard to return to the sacristy, the reflection in the glass narthex doors revealed the city, visibly pressing its face to the renovated landmark church, streetlights, a bus sign, rain starting in a small, mean way. He was waiting at the threshold to the nave, half shadow, color white as a high beam light. "You're staying late," he said. "First night with lock-up duty," she said, holding the key as it clicked against a metal ring in her palm. He smiled like someone who knew exactly how his smile worked on a room. "I appreciate reliability. I appreciate clear instructions. Those you'll have," he said. His gaze slipped past her, then back. Confession runs late tonight. If anyone comes after hours, you can send them to me. Anyone? She asked. Anyone, he said. The word held a suggestion of more than someone random. He moved past her. The air, vestments, and walls spoke of something like cologne, but cleaner, colder. She watched him cross into the freckled dark and disappear into the wooden booth. She waited. No one came. It was time to gather her things and go home. At 7:30, she took the long way to the office to leave his chair and envelope alone on purpose. On the corridor wall hung a photo of him from a decade earlier, younger, thinner, a smile that hadn't learned calculation. She'd known men with that smile. They were good until good turned into something entirely different. Then there was another word for it. Back at the desk, she laid the deposit she collected, zipped tight in its pouch, turned off the computer and copier. The envelope sat where she'd left it, patient as a snake. She walked over to click off a lamp that had been turned back on. On the corner of the priest's blotter, a legal pad held a sentence half scratched out. For the protection of the parish, the rest was torn away. Secretary, a woman's voice was heard saying from the doorway. Early 30s, a thin coat, eyes that looked as though they had been crying, but revealed a dose of the overly powdered, clearly to try to hide that fact. We're closed, she said gently. But if you need confession. No, the woman said. I need you. People said that sometimes without meaning it. This one meant it. Father asked me to keep boundaries, the woman rushed on, so I'm keeping them. I'm coming to you. He said... She stopped, swallowed. He said he can't meet with me anymore. And then these letters from the diocese. They read like I'm dangerous. I'm not dangerous, I'm just hurt, she supplied. The woman nodded, quick and grateful. I thought I imagined the warmth, that I put something there, but he... Another swallow. He made me feel seen and not seen, and then like I was some kind of a threat that needs paperwork. Her stomach went cold in the way it did when the pattern clarified. The envelope on the chair might as well have spoken. What's your name? She asked. Anna. Sit, Anna. Anna sat like someone who hadn't been offered a chair in weeks. Tell me only what you need to, she said, not more. He started meeting with me after my mother died, Anna said. He was kind. He asked questions no one else asked. Then he stepped closer. Not touching, just her hands described a small orbit near her chest. And when I told him I was confused, he told me to pray. And when I wrote him that I couldn't pray about it without crying, the letter started, from lawyers. I don't understand. I'm not a lawsuit. I'm a parishioner. Outside, rain found the glass in earnest. She heard each drop like a tick on a clock. Did you keep his messages? She asked. Yes. And his eyes flicked to the legal pad, then back. Am I in trouble? Not yet, she said. But someone wants you to feel like you are.